Hey, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at CRO. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. I also want to mention the two donation links down below in the description. Feel free to go over to the official websites where you can donate to the Ukrainian refugees or to Ukraine's military if you want to support Ukraine. Thank you all for understanding, and let's jump into the charts. So this is the weekly chart for a CRO. The last update that we did was 3 weeks ago, and we didn't have the bearish cross yet, but now we do. And this is basically the confirmation of our downtrend. So I also want to point out the fact that we are coming back to the low that we printed back in the pullback that we got last summer. So basically, you printed a low, you made a high, and now you're retracing to where you came from, which is this low. So I do think we're going to keep bottoming out around this area. So anywhere from 10 to all the way down to 9 cents, 8.5 cents even. This is a good buying area. And as you can see, we are going to potentially start some sort of a relief rally because you were in this strong move to the downside. And so we could be targeting 16.64 over here. So basically a bit higher than 16.5 cents. And this was our 1.618 fib level that we were targeting before the pullback. Right now, you came back down. You could potentially have a back test of resistance from this area, and then you come back down to the second fib level. Now, I didn't specifically mention the price of the second fib level in the last update, but I did have this level on the charts. If you had the fib retracement, you could have seen it yourself. And with the pullback that we got with Bitcoin, Crypto.com landed on this support here, 11 cents. You did wick a little bit below that, but you did close the candles above the second fib level, which is very important. So potentially you could also look for the 2.272 here as your next support in case of a capitulation. So I would look for 8.5 cents as the next buy opportunity for CRO. Now that is pretty much it regarding the price action here. We are in a nasty downtrend. There's really not a lot to say. So this is our ABC correction. As you can see, we have our A leg down here. You have our AB high, and now you're looking for the C low. And whenever we find that low, okay, which could potentially be over here, right at the 2.272, no one really knows. But I do think if Bitcoin starts losing $18,000 once again, we could almost guaranteed we're gonna drop below the second fib level. That's almost guaranteed for Crypto.com. But I think the catalyst was, and the real indicator was, that when we started losing this white trend line back in April this year, this was your red flag that you are losing a very, very crucial support level that you've held since June of last year. And by doing so, you started this downtrend, right? So this was your red flag. I did talk about this white trend line for multiple months beforehand, and I did tell you once you start losing that, that could be one of your first red flags. Now, moving down into the relative strength index here on the weekly, you can see that you had a pullback all the way down here to where you were back in December of 2020. And right now you are seemingly coming up, you're curling to the upside, and potentially you could have a little relief rally. That is not out of the question. You could even have a move all the way up here and get rejected from there. Let me just give you the price candle. There we go. The price tag, I should say, 35.8. As you can see, you almost came to this area once you had the pullback in December, but you did get rejected a little bit below that. So you could even potentially just draw like a buy zone here, right? Or a resistance zone, I should say. And if you do enter the black zone here, which is if you lose the red zone basically and go below the index of 30, that is considered oversold. So once you're in the oversold, that is the best time to be accumulating really any asset whatsoever. So that is it for the weekly. Let's switch over to the daily chart. So the markets are rallying a little bit, as you can see, and potentially we are gonna have a little resistance over here over at the 20 EMA on the daily chart. So the 20 EMA is currently sitting at 13.5 cents. From there, you could potentially look for a short opportunity, or you could look to enter 19% cheaper at the second fib level, or just slightly above it so that you have more chances of entering. But let's say you start breaking the 20 EMA here, I would look for a back test of support, right? If you're going to take profits a bit higher, but ultimately I would look at taking profits at the 1.618 if we have like a very strong pump here, which in reality would simply be a lower high, and then you would continuously just drop down lower. Because with the recession, or I should say the potential recession in the US, we are looking at people just leaving all the risk on assets and converting into fiat. So if that happens, it's good for me personally, because that will drive the prices down, and I like buying when the prices are down. So it's a win-win for me either way. If we start reversing from here to the upside, great. If not, I'll just buy some. But I'm not going to be buying into CRO right now, because I'm buying into some other higher cap altcoins. If you want to know which ones exactly, then feel free to follow me on Patreon. I do drop in all my trade alerts, and the low cap gems as well are in there. The link is down below in the description. Now, if we jump into the daily RSI, I do want to show you this white trend line here that is acting as a support level. So we should keep an eye on this level. You did have one bounce from here, second bounce from here, and potentially if we start another capitulation, you could come all the way down here and have another bounce from this trend line. So this is just a good entry point for you if you see yourself come all the way down here and you see the RSI land on this trend line, then potentially put some buy orders, but not a financial advice here. And that is pretty much everything that I did want to show you. As you can see, you are breaking on the RSI, you are breaking this high over here, which is quite bullish. You've not really broken it just yet, but you're about to do so if we start or if we continue pumping higher from now on. But I do want to show you that the fact that we are printing a very strong bullish divergence here, because if you can see that on the RSI here, you are printing continuous higher lows, but on the price action, I apologize, you are printing lower lows. So this is a divergence between the RSI and between the price action candles, and this is called a bullish divergence. And the bullish divergence is always has always an uptrend after it, right? So you have the bullish divergence, and then you look for this relief rally. So this could potentially be the pump that we are looking for. Like I said, I think 20 EMA is going to reject us. That's the likely scenario. If not, I'll be targeting the 1.618. So you have multiple support levels, you have multiple resistance levels. Let me know if I missed out anything important on the charts. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter. I do post technical analysis in there, and feel free to join me on my Patreon. I'm going to catch you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.